Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in. We have a good one today. We're going to be going over Conor McGregor. The whole reason I made this video calls out Jake Paul for being a pay-per-view flop, so it got me digging into Jake Paul's pay-per-view numbers. We're going to go into all of that, and then we're going to be going over Jake Paul talking about calling out Alex Pereira, saying, hey, I'm not making it up, and also the UFC or someone wants a big pay-per-view draw to make money. And I think it's kind of ironic because Jake Paul is not a pay-per-view star. And then we're going to be going over Tim Welch finally responds to this whole Merab and Sean O'Malley controversy. Guys, I'm doing this while my son is asleep. We're going to have a Father Sunday. I'm going to take him to work, to my sweepstakes cafe, and show him how to do manual labor as a 2-year-old. So if you appreciate me walking the line of almost waking up my son, give me a like, give me a subscribe. But with that, let's get right into this video.
May. Next, let's take a look at Jake Paul breaks silence on Alex Pereira call-out. After his recent win over Mike Perry, Jake Paul called out both Mike Tyson and Alex Pereira in his post-fight interview. As Michael Bisping explained in the days following the fight, the call-out was a safe one for Paul, who knows that a bout between him and Pereira will never happen given that Dana White and the UFC would never go along with co-promoting the fight. Despite that, Paul recently doubled down on his call-out of Pereira during an episode of the Full Send podcast.
Then I call him out, and people are like, "Oh, Jake's crazy."
That goes through Dana, right?
And I'm like, "Yo, what do you people want?"
I think the people's opinion is he's calling these people out because he knows it'll never happen.
Pereira's not
He
gonna
knows
happen.
it's not gonna
You
happen.
don't think it'll happen? You're friends with Dana. Tell Dana, bro.
Well, I don't think it's possible, right?
But why not?
Because he's
if we're gonna
he's
sell
in his prime.
But if we're gonna sell 2 million pay-per-views, this is a business at the end of the day.
But I don't think they care about a quick buck like that. You think?
I think so for sure. Especially because I think that the pay-per-view numbers in this industry are going down. There's too much illegal streaming.
I think
Paul also spoke about Dana White and the respect he has for White, despite the two being at odds in the past.
No, people think I hate the
So
UFC. I don't.
I think Dana's hurt by you call. I don't know if he's hurt. I love Dana.
Yeah, but also I
You have
didn't.
to bow down
Dana's
to
the
the
best
Godfather.
guy.
But,
Yeah,
but that's
he
what I'm
is.
saying. But I also have a lot of respect for his RNC speech, bro, was amazing. We agree on so many things, and I think he has a great side of him. And I'm sure we'd be friends, maybe in this life, maybe in a different life. I just want.
Buzz Brands offers a wide variety of high-quality, low-cost, and low-dose THC options. It's made for the functional person who uses THC, whether it's to enhance life, for pain, or for mood. They have energy drinks, my personal favorite, gummies, shots, and ice creams, guys. Whenever you make a purchase, enter Bear in the notes. On August 25th, I'll pick 2 or 3 of y'all, and we'll send y'all a huge care package of random items from Buzz Brands, guys. That's buckabuzz.com. Enter Bear in the notes. Let's get back to the show. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause that right here because you get the preface of this whole video, the groundwork. It is that Jake Paul saying, hey, the UFC wants me, what's a $2 million pay-per-view sale to them? Of course they want that. Jake Paul does not sell pay-per-views like that, guys. And yes, is there the factor that he's fighting Alex Pereira and that he'll get freaking murked? Absolutely. But the thing is Alex is in contract with the UFC, and as you already know, Hunter Campbell and Dana White are 100% never going to do business with Jake Paul. He's too messy, he stirred up too much controversy, and talked too much shit. So with that, let's go over to Conor McGregor. He's going to be talking a little bit about Jake Paul as well, too, and then we're going to dive into some hard statistics.
Up next, Conor McGregor roasts Jake Paul for pay-per-view numbers. Leading up to Jake Paul's recent boxing match with Mike Perry, it seemed like there was decent buzz for the fight. But according to initial reports, it looks like the fight tanked in terms of pay-per-view purchases. And guess what? Conor McGregor is loving it. Paul was supposed to box Mike Tyson last month, but when the legend had to withdraw due to health issues, Perry stepped up. Initially, McGregor publicly rooted for Perry on account of the fact that he was one of the BKFC's biggest stars, and Conor recently bought a stake in the promotion. But following Perry's loss, and perhaps more importantly, his announcement he's creating his own hybrid rules boxing promotion, McGregor proclaimed Platinum was fired from BKFC. So, when initial reports regarding pay-per-view numbers for Paul Perry were shared, Conor didn't hold back. The latest pay-per-view numbers for the Nate Diaz vs. Jorge Masvidal boxing match on television pay-per-view would be around 9,500, and you'd estimate it to work out to be around 30K. For Jake Paul vs. Mike Perry, it's at 7,500, and you'd work that out to be about 25K.
So if you're wondering why are they making a smaller number and then going down to a large one, remember guys, with pay-per-views, there's trickle down, there's the back end, so there's so much other it's not just from ESPN, it's other bars buying it, licenses are businesses sell the license to sell the fight or put it on into other bars, and so all that just takes months to come in and get the full and final numbers. So that's how they're able to make those projections. And so I was like curious, like, what does Jake Paul make? You know what I mean? Fighting. And right here, shout out to Reddit. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. So remember, when Jake Paul first started, there was this, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? He's fighting an MMA fighter. These guys fight, you know, with no gloves, like, you know, just a 4-ounce little padding. He's going to die. And so remember, the excitement builds up, and then also with the name that is not Jake Paul, but associated with Jake Paul. And so when you have a big UFC star, you don't know what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of buzz, right? So I'm just keeping that in mind. So when you see the numbers go down, that is why it is, in my opinion. Ben Askren did $500K at $50 a pay-per-view. Tyrone Woodley did $500K at $60. Number 2 did $200K. 65K was cable purchases only. Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva did $200 to $300K. And then I believe that Jake Paul versus Fury, here it is down here on the screen, did an estimated 200,000 pay-per-view buys. And here on X, they're saying that Jake Paul allegedly did under 67,000 total pay-per-view buys, guys. So Jake Paul is not a box office draw, and I will tell you why. How many Jake Paul fights have you seen, guys? How many have actually been like badass, entertaining, like off your seat, holy crap, what's gonna... How many fights have been like that? How many fights have been so boring where you literally want to cancel the fight and mad that you paid for it and just happy they had a good undercard, and then all of a sudden there's a knockout or someone gets dropped, but it's like the boringest fight wrapped up the whole time? That is what Jake Paul is, because he is a new boxer. He's not developed yet, and he's awesome. Like, I mean, he's getting better, and he's a great boxer. I'm not trying to take away anything from him, but what I'm saying is he's not like a Canelo or a Bivol or like a prize fighter yet. He's not a Ryan Garcia. You know, he's not a Tank. He's still working his way up. Now, against Mike Perry, someone who has no boxing technique whatsoever, man, he looked great, and that was an entertaining fight, just seeing the prospect of him possibly getting knocked out by Mike Perry or vice versa, Mike Perry knocking him out or him knocking Mike Perry out. Who knows? And so it was a little bit exciting, but it's like, man, Jake Paul, that was the most entertaining fight he's ever had. Jake Paul is a boring fighter, and now guys are starting to realize, hey, he's just picking MMA fighters. He knows he's going to win and beat, except for Tommy Fury. And even with that, it was a good competitive boxing match, and Jake Paul made adjustments, but it was boring, guys. I'm not trying to watch someone wrap up for 6 to 8 rounds in a row. And so that is my opinion on that. I think that Jake Paul is a boring fighter. Was the Mike Perry entertaining? Absolutely, but he's just not this, whoa, spectacularly entertaining to watch boxer. I don't die to see him. Now, with Alex Pereira, I would love to see that fight. Me, I'm not like the most I can do technologically advanced things, but that are specific and pertain to my business, you know, when it comes to marketing, yada, yada, yada. But when it comes to like streaming a fight, I don't know how to do it. And it drives my nuts drives my wife so nuts and makes her so mad, because every time we have to buy the pay-per-view. But guys, now it's like there's no more buying pay-per-views. Jake Paul's fan base is like, you know, under 18 years old. None of them are buying pay-per-views. They're all streaming because they know how to do that. And so I'm going to leave it there, guys. What do you think? Do you think that Jake Paul would ever freaking, you know, fight Alex Pereira? Of course not. He would not fight Alex Pereira. There's no way in heck, and obviously the UFC would not allow that. So with that, let's go ahead. We're going to get into the Tim Welch response to this Merab and Sean O'Malley controversy.
Next up, let's take a look at Tim Welch talks about feud with Aljamain Sterling. Back in May, Aljamain Sterling took aim at Tim Welch, stating that if Sean O'Malley's coach wants to talk trash to fighters like he and Merab Dvalishvili, that he's quote-unquote eligible to catch hands. With Dvalishvili recently saying that he wants to slap Welch, his feud with the Sarah Longo team is more relevant than ever. While speaking on a recent episode,
go to motionready.com to add this to your video, and that, and that.
Fire, smoke, 2D. Get it on Motion Array.
Episode of Submission Radio, Welch opened up about his beef with the team leading up to the O'Malley and Dvalishvili clash at the Sphere in September.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're so bitter. They let the little curly-haired funny guy who makes all these videos, who has tattoos on his face, he's just mad. Sean flatlined him. He punched him and he dropped bombs on him, hammered him, forced him to turtle up. In this world title fight with the world championship on the line, and you're fighting the Sugar Show. I'm glad you were thinking about me and not thinking about the fight you were in.
With things heating up and tension rising on both sides, it's safe to say that UFC will likely have plenty of security on hand during fight week.
Guys, what the heck? No, Merab isn't doing anything. Oh, Aljamain Sterling isn't doing anything. I'm not making another video. He keeps talking about, it's on site, Tim. It's on site, Tim. If I see you. Aljamain Sterling, what are you going to do? You're going to freaking body triangle him for a little bit? Oh my gosh, you think that Tim Welsh is going to follow the rules in a fucking street fight when both your hands are on the floor, praying that you won't get fucking kneed in the face and then knocked out and win the title? So yeah, dude, Aljamain Sterling's not about that life. Merab is not about that life. They don't need extra security. No one's jumping no one. Like, O'Malley flatline Aljamain Sterling. I mean, yes, did he go lights out? I don't think so necessarily, but I do think in one of the video clips I saw in the fight, whenever Sean won his championship, is that definitely when he hit him, in one of the views, it did look like his eyes worked, like, he regained consciousness in that whole round of events after a couple of hammer fists, and then, but, when they called the fight, he definitely wasn't unconscious, but I'm telling you, that does something to you. It kind of puts, Sean O'Malley has a little leash on Aljamain Sterling, right? And so now Merab's talking all this shit, and Aljamain Sterling wants to get onto it, but dude, they're scared, man. Merab would get eaten by Tim Welsh. I don't think he really knows Tim Welsh's credentials as a coach, how many absolute killers he is producing out of his gym in Arizona, including obviously Sean O'Malley, guys. But I just think it's so interesting that Merab is talking all this shit, getting so mad, and it's like, he went and approached Sean O'Malley. I already did a video on this when they were doing the little face-off, and he's like, hey, I don't like your guys talking shit, yada, yada. Go say it to his face, Merab. Go say it to his face. It's so funny when people talk all this shit on social media, yada, yada, yada. Like, listen, y'all are already gonna fight. Like, it's teams versus teams. Like, Merab and Sean O'Malley are already gonna fight. Leave it in the octagon, settle it there. I can't wait for that fight. I think Merab is going to get slept, guys. I really freaking do. And guys, if y'all are like, oh no, he's not, he's a grappler, he's gonna wrestle, he's the machine. You know what? Do you want Merab to be the champion of the bantamweight division? What fight of Merab's have you watched and like, oh wow, this is entertaining? Yeah, exactly. Maybe the one where Merab got knocked out. But there's like, he would be the boringest champion. Yes, does he have a cool personality? Is he the machine? Is it so impressive how he can go for a freaking single leg no matter what and just keep going and grinding for it? Absolutely. But he's not a finisher, whether it's submissions, on the ground, or standing, and I think he is just a boring fighter all around. I don't want him to be champion. I want to see better fights, and I can't wait for this fight to be over with because I think Sean O'Malley is going to drop him, and then we're going to start seeing really, really cool matchups like with Corey Sandhagen, seeing Sean O'Malley possibly move up, and just getting just more movement in the division, guys. But I'm leaving it there. If you got any entertainment out of this video, give me a like, give me a subscribe. It really helps out this channel. On September 1st, I'm going to pick one of y'all randomly. I'm going to send you a pack of Pro V1 golf balls with your YouTube name on it, or if you're 21 and you'd prefer, I'll send you some stuff from Buzz Brands and a little goodie package filled up of random stuff that my sponsor sends me. Leaving it there. Peace.